قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this live episode of Ask Zad. We will take your phone calls directly, and our first caller is Yunus from Germany.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes, Yunus.
Do you hear me? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Where I go on Friday, there are two masjids in Long Street. They are maybe 800 meters away from each other, and there are two Jumu'ah congregations, one in Turkish, one in Arabic. Now, the people may pray in one masjid, there is enough space, but this is how they got used to. And now the thing is, if I go to the imams, then I think it's most likely they wouldn't change it. And in the Turkish masjid, they give a translation, like they interrupt the khutbah with an audio which goes like 6 or 10 minutes. So they interrupt the khutbah and they play in audio with the translation for 6 or 8 minutes, and then they go on. Now the thing is, what should I do? Should I go to the imams and at least try to change it, or should I just go with the Arabs because I understand it, or what?
Of course, go with the Arabic khutbah if you understand it. This doesn't need any hesitation, inshallah. And if you can speak to the imams, then that would also add value. Abdul Malik from France. Abdul Malik? Abdul Rahman from India. Abdul Rahman.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I am working in IT sector. I will go lunch with my non-Muslim friends. Most of the time that they will share their food to me. If it seems to be veg, can I eat, or I need to be refrained because they may be contaminate the veg food in the non-veg cooked pan, or can I ask them like it is veg food? If they confirm, means can I eat, or can I eat? Because most of the time the people they would clean the vessels properly before cook the veg food. In our locality, most of the meat shops are owned by Muslims. In those cases, what I need to do?
Akhi, if you're eating at your lunch break with non-Muslims and you're not eating in a restaurant, you're eating in a canteen or in a hall, and they bring their food with them, and you would like to share the food, you could ask them whether it is totally veg or not. If it's totally vegetarian food, there's no problem in eating from that, insha'Allah. But if they tell you that they have some meat with it and they are Hindus, no, this is not permissible. Though I doubt that Hindus would eat such meat, but it is not permissible because we are not allowed to eat in such countries that is not a Christian country or a Jewish country or a Muslim country. So such people, we cannot eat from the meat they consume because it was not slaughtered according to the Islamic Sharia, and Allah knows best. Adikanol from Nigeria. Adikanol. Farhan from India. Wa alaikum salam wa
I had a question regarding burning of chilies to remove evil eye. Sometimes it works. So, if believing that it, the
Farhan, I can't hear you because your line is not clear, akhi. I don't know if it's your microphone or what.
Yeah. So now,
Okay, can you speak?
so yes, I can
Yes.
now. So, the burning of chilies to remove evil eye, it is halal or haram or is it shirk? And some people hang aloe vera and many other things to protect them from black magic and everything else. So, is believing in this shirk or is anything, doing of such kind shirk?
Burning of chili or spreading salt and black pepper and curry spices to ward off jinn or evil eye or black magic, all of this is nonsense. It is not mentioned in the Quran. It is not mentioned in the authentic sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and none of the companions had done this. So such a practice, in my own view, acts as a person believes in superstitions. And not only that, it acts as if they are offering sacrifice to the jinn. Maybe the jinn love chilies and they like it burnt. I don't know. So there is no point in burning it or using mustard gas or the likes to ward off jinn, because we have no evidence or proof, neither from the Quran nor from the Sunnah, that this is an effective way or a legitimate way to ward off jinn and black magic. Hence, it is an innovation, it's part of the superstition, and if it is made as a form of sacrifice, then it's shirk. As in some places, when they build a new house, before they enter it, they slaughter a sheep or a goat at the doorsteps, and they put the blood on the doorsteps, seeking barakah. This is a sacrifice to the jinn, so that they would not haunt their house and cause any problems for them. And this is shirk. May Allah protect us all. And from Uganda.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
You say that it is not recommended for us to send salutations upon the Prophet when we are in sujood. What of the period between adhan and prayers, when it is raining and during the last moments of Friday?
I did not say it is not recommended to offer salutation upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam when in the state of sujood. I said it is not part of the sunnah. It is not part of the etiquettes of dua while doing sujood, like in normal times. I'm sitting home and I'd like to engage in dua. So what are the etiquettes? The answer is to face the Qibla, raise my hands, praise Allah Azza wa Jal by saying, Allahumma lakal hamdu hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fi, and then offer salutation upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and after that ask whatever I want from Allah. Whether this is between adhan and iqamah, at the last third of the night, when it's raining, when I hear the sound of a rooster in the early mornings. All of these are times of answering your dua that the Prophet instructed us ﷺ and recommended us to make dua. So if you engage in dua before that, it is highly recommended to do what I just mentioned. In sujood, it's not the case. You just engage in asking Allah directly, and Allah knows best. However, if a person offers salutation upon the Prophet ﷺ, there's no issue in that at all, insha'Allah. CD from Germany.
Esselamu Aleyküm Şeyh.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Nasılsın Şeyh?
Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal. In Turkish, I don't know what they say. Rabbana shkina. Yeah. What can I do for you?
Ethan.
Okay.
Sheikh, this is a question from a good brother, Hafidahullah. In Turkey, there is a tradition of paying mahr only after separation, so they don't pay it until there's divorce. So the brother wants to know if it is in accordance with Islam and if there's a possibility to pay a part immediately and another part at a later time, or generally change the timing of payment.
Okay. First of all, a dowry or a mahr is a woman's right when a man marries her. Whether this is given before the consummation of the marriage, or during the marriage contract, or at a later time, even after the consummation of marriage, it's all permissible. It's a debt upon the man once the marriage contract takes place. Now, some people would agree and write in the marriage contract that my mahr is divided into 2 installments. One, instant and immediate. Here is a $1 bill as a mahr, and the last portion of it, if there were a divorce, then I will pay the rest, which is $1,000. And the woman agrees and they sign, and that's it. Now this $1,000 is a debt upon the man. He has to pay it ASAP. Now, if he doesn't, and the woman is fine with that, this debt, the woman has to give zakat each and every year, because it's her money and she lent it to someone who's capable of paying it, so she has to give zakat for it. Some people exaggerate and say that, yeah, give us immediate effect, $1 as the first installment. The second installment is $100,000 to be paid if you were to divorce. Now this is used as a deterrent to stop you from divorcing. And it never works. Because most men, if they want to divorce, they will just wait. They will not see their wives, they will not go to them, they will not provide for them until she files for khul'. If she files for khul', then she has to give up her dowry, which she did not receive in the first place, and the man goes free. And this is not a smart thing to do. Now, if the mahr is given up front, $1,000, here's $1,000. But the woman makes a condition: in case you divorce me, you have to pay me $100,000 or $10,000. And he agrees for that. This is not mahr. This is, let's say, a late payment fee. Call it whatever you want, a penalty. But this is binding because both of them agreed to that. So I hope this answers your question. Amina from the Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So if I borrow someone money and they want to use the money to buy something and the price increased, so she saved the money, and now the money is being with her for more than a year, and the money reached Nisab to pay zakah on it. So does she have to pay zakah on it? Because I don't require her to pay me for another maybe 3, 4, 5 years. And or do I have to pay zakah on it because it's still my money, even though I don't have it with me?
Wajazakum. It's an issue of dispute. What I follow and I believe is that, number one, you, the lender, have to pay zakat every single year as long as that individual has the ability to pay it and they're not broke. My brother comes and says, I need $100,000 to do XYZ. And I said, here you go. And I give it to him. Now, I know my brother is earning and he has savings, but he needs extra cash. After 1 year, I have to, or when my zakat is due, I have to give zakat on that 100,000. Why? I don't have it. Yes, but if I say to him, give it back to me, he would immediately manage to do something and give me back the money. He's not broke. He's capable of paying it. And I did not put a time limit to it. So 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, no problem. I have to pay the zakat yearly. Now, if my brother took the 100,000 and stashed it in his bank account, after a whole year of borrowing it, if he still has the money or whatever is left of the money, he has to pay zakat on that. What? Why would he? If the owner paid the zakat, why would he pay the zakat again? Because the money is in his hand. And when the Prophet used to send, alayhi salatu wasalam, his officials to collect zakat from those who have crops, from those who have cattle, from those who have trades, they used to come and check, how many camels do you have? Give us X amount of zakat. Without interrogating them or questioning them, are they all yours? Or did you borrow some of them? They would take whatever is found and whatever they see. This is why zakat is due upon both, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Yusuf from the Emirates.
Alright.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Alhamdulillah. And he has an apartment in a Kafir country, and he wants me to promote it online for like Airbnb and advertise it. But the thing is, I've been there and I've been in that apartment, and I saw a book that has like a map for like guiding around the country. Like it has multiple places for worship, like it has a church in it, and I saw a cross in the church, obviously. So I don't know if I can advertise this place, and has other places of worship too.
There is no problem in advertising an apartment. I don't see any relationship between the apartment and the book, because your friend owns the book. Your relatives may have hundreds of books similar to that, or encyclopedias, or something on their computers that would lead to such thing. You have on your phone Google Maps that would take people to churches and synagogues and temples. This has nothing to do with renting or leasing or selling a property. This is not related. Yes, if you tell me he wants me to advertise his apartment as a temple or as a place where people go to worship their false gods, I said, yeah, this is haram. But to rent it and to live in it or to stay the night in it, there's nothing wrong in that, inshallah. Musa from Azerbaijan. Musa.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Sheikh, my face is oily naturally, and after eating oily food, my lips and some parts around my mouth is being oily. And when these two combine, I feel a layer on my skin. Can it be a barrier? Allah knows best.
No, it's not a barrier. If you wash your face in wudu and gargle water in your mouth, this is fine. Juwairia from France.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, Sheikh, we know that certain types of fears are part of hidden acts of worship, and that if a person directs their fear towards other than Allah, then it's kufr. So my question is, if my brother is involved in black magic and I cannot sever ties with him, is fearing that he may harm me with sihr considered as kufr? Barakallahu fik.
Juwayriya, if your brother is known to be physically abusive and you fear that if you talk to him, he's going to slap you on your face or stab you with a knife, is this kind of fear shirk? Yes or no? Juwayriya, are you with us or you're gone? Okay, she's gone. So, as I said before multiple times, the fear of others that is associated with revering them, worshiping them, fearing them in things that only Allah can do, this is shirk. Natural fear, such as the fear of lions, of a black mamba, fire, drowning, this is not shirk. Fearing someone who could harm you physically is not shirk. But when I'm in the middle of the house and I fear a ruler or someone of great power, though he's not able to see me or able to control me, and I have this fear that is similar to the fear of Allah, in the absence of that individual that is associated with revering him and glorifying him, this is shirk. And this is not found except with those who worship other than Allah. For example, a thief was caught red-handed stealing. And they say to him, "You stole." He said, "No, I did not steal." He said, "Swear by Allah, you did not steal." He said, "Wallahi, I did not steal." He said, "Okay, swear by Imam Hussein or by Tijani or Jilani, one of the awliyas he believed in." He said, "No, I can't do that. They will curse me. I will be doomed for eternity." Not because it's shirk. He's afraid of them, literally afraid of them. That is true shirk, and Allah knows best. Ammar from Tunisia. Ya Ammar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I'm studying abroad for 5 years at least. So am I still considered to be a traveler because this country is not mine? I'd like to know that in order to know if I can make dua whenever I want to, because the dua of the traveler is answered. Jazakallahu khairan.
Wa jazakum. A traveler is a person who carries the label with him. So he moves from one town to the other. He does not have a house to settle in. So if I go to attend a conference and I spend 2 weeks in that country, so I go from Calgary to Ottawa to Toronto to Edmonton, 3 days, 4 days here, I'm staying in hotels, I'm a traveler. Even if I stay in that country for a whole month, I'm still a traveler. I shorten my prayers, I can skip Ramadan fasting, I make dua as a traveler, because whenever they call my family, they would say, "Oh, the Sheikh is traveling." For you, my friend, the moment you set foot in that country, you started to rent a house or an apartment or moved into a hostel or to the dorm. And now you have your own room, you have your own bed, you have your own wardrobe, you put your clothes in. You've settled down. So now you're not a traveler anymore. You're a resident. You've settled. So you have to pray on time. You cannot combine prayers. You cannot skip Ramadan. And when you go on vacation to your own country, it's the same thing. But you can shorten prayer and skip fasting when you're commuting between the country you're studying in and your own hometown, because you are a traveler. But in both of the places, you are a settler, and you cannot combine or shorten your prayers, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best, bearing in mind that dua is not necessarily related to a traveler. You can make dua between adhan and iqama every single fard. And you can make dua at the last third of the night, and when the rooster makes its call, you can make dua. When it rains, you can make dua. When you are in distress, you can make dua. So many places that, and the last hour of Friday, you can make dua. These are blessed times and recommended for us to make dua, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah we'll be right back.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we're going to talk about the book Interactions of the Greatest Leader. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered his companions to love the poor and be close to them. Abu Thar al-Ghifari radiyallahu anh said, "My intimate friend sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered me with 7 things: to love the poor and be close to them, to look at those who are below me and not those who are above me, to keep the ties of the womb no matter how far they are, to not ask anyone for anything, to say the truth even if it is bitter, to not fear when standing up for Allah's rights, the blame of anyone that blames." And he ordered me to say, "La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah." There is no ability or strength except through Allah, because it is from a treasure beneath the throne. Reported by Ahmad. Albani ruled it authentic in As-Sahih.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back. We have Suad from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, Sheikh, I recently visited my friend after Juma prayer. And while I was in her house, it was time to pray Asri. And she told me that it's best to delay Asri prayer on Juma. Is that correct, Sheikh?
The answer is no. This is totally baseless. It is never part of the sunnah to delay Asr prayer any day of the week at all. So I don't know where she brought this piece of information. Hamid from Nigeria. Hamid.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is, how do we remember Allah when we want to sleep during the day, and when we wake up during the day? Jazakallahu khair.
Wa jazakum. There isn't any prescribed dua that we know of to go into a nap during the daytime. So if someone says, Bismika Allahumma ada'u jambi wa bismika arfa'uh, the rest, that would be sufficient. In your name I put my, I lie down, and in your name I rise up to the end. That's sufficient, inshallah, though it's not prescribed for daytime. It's prescribed for night time. And if one says, Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana min ba'di ma amatana, praise be to Allah who gave us life after this minor death, and to him is the resurrection or to return. Also, this is fine, but again, there is nothing prescribed for the daytime sleeping. Ubay from Tunisia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you doing, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
My question for today is, what are the etiquettes of using miswak? Is it inappropriate to use it in the masjid or in the street in front of people? Do we use our right or left hand? Jazakallah khair.
Wajazakum. There are many etiquettes for using the miswak, but none to my knowledge is part of the sunnah. So the Prophet used to do this. This is the miswak. And he used to brush his teeth. And he used to extensively do this. And he recommended brushing our teeth whenever we want to perform wudu, whenever we want to pray, before praying, and when also a person enters his home to meet his wife, etc., he should have a nice, pleasant smell to his mouth. This is part of the sunnah. Now, a lot of the people, due to the Western etiquettes, see it repulsive to use the miswak in the masjid, in a conference room, in a business meeting, in the streets. And it appears that they don't have anything against you, but they have something against the sunnah. So this, one way or another, raises feelings of resentment. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us. And there's nothing wrong in doing it. I'm not spitting in your face when I'm using my miswak like this. Yes, if I'm talking to you, I wouldn't do, yeah, you should do this, you should do that. This is inappropriate and unethical. But if I'm on my own, if I'm walking in the streets, if I'm in a meeting listening to someone and I'm using my miswak, I'm attentive. Even in khutbat al-jumu'ah, and this may raise eyebrows for some, unless they have micropigmentation. Anyhow, if you are listening to the khutbah of the Jumu'ah and you fear that you will fall asleep, the khatib is so articulate to the extent that everybody is nodding their heads and dozing into sleep, because his way of giving the khutbah and the subject itself. And so if you fear falling into this form of lack of concentration, there's no problem in using the miswak. Oh, Sheikh, but the hadith says if you touch the stone, then you have no Friday. This is for those who are playing around. But for someone who's about to fall asleep and he cannot shake it off, then using the miswak for this purpose, inshallah, would be fine. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Safiya from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is, for first prayer, the Sunnah, you have to read Surah Al-Kafirun and Surah Al-Ikhlas. Is my prayer still invalid if I forget to read those surahs? Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazakum. First of all, Safiya, you said in Fajr Sunnah, we have to. The correction is, this is not correct. You do not have to. Because when you use the word have to, it gives a form of obligation. And it's not mandatory nor obligatory to read Al-Kafirun and Al-Ikhlas in Al-Fajr or in Al-Maghrib Sunnah. Rather, it is highly recommended. So if someone deliberately prays the Sunnah of Fajr and reads only the Fatiha, nothing else, his prayer is valid. If he prays Al-Fatiha and any other ayah or surah other than Al-Ikhlas and Al-Kafirun, the prayer is valid. But he would have lost some reward for not following the Sunnah. And I hope this answers your question. Adam from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I know a family that is going on holiday to Muslim lands. However, the hijab is not properly observed, and the son does not want to go, but he is dependent upon them. They insist on him going and may be badly shouted at. Would he be sinful if he goes and actually enjoys his time and wears a thobe since he cannot normally do so, since he feels like this would be assisting in sin, having enjoy his time? So would he be sinful?
Adam, are they abiding by the hijab in their own country?
No.
So what's the difference?
Nothing.
So there's no problem in him going with them with a positive attitude, trying to let them feel close to him, bond with them, let them see his respect to them, and at the same time, hit two birds with one stone. Show them how a Muslim should behave, how to give da'wah directly or indirectly in a very diplomatic way, and try to, little by little, influence them to see where he's coming from, why is he doing what he's doing, instead of always being the religious police. No, this is haram. You should cover your hair. You should do this. Don't speak like that. Don't stand in this fashion. Don't eat with your left. Don't drink with this. Don't do that. This is all what they see from you. So you, being in their shoes, how would you react when someone comes to you like this? The difference between you and them is that Allah has thrown the light of Iman in your heart. So if I were to come to you and speak to you rudely about something that you should do backed by Quran or Sunnah, you would be offended because of my rude behavior, but you would accept it because you have Iman in your heart. So you would take it on board and you would do it. Now, with them, it's different. Even if you show them the Quran or the authentic Sunnah, they will not accept it because they don't have this Iman in their heart yet. So you would be plowing in rocks and stones. Nothing would ever grow up from there. You need to cultivate the land first. And you do this by making them respect you, love you, trust you, think that you want the best for them, not that you want to control them and to police them and to be able to act upon what Simon says. I don't know, maybe this makes sense, inshallah. Fahim from Bangladesh.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam tullah.
Sheikh, here in Bangladesh, some of the Muslims are so much fascinated with the arrival of Imam Mahdi, Dajjal, the battle at the end. They feel the end of time.
Arrival of what?
Arrival of Imam Mahdi.
When is he coming?
Sheikh, that's my point. They are so much fascinated with that. I mean, they sit in the lazy chair. They're just fascinated with the arrival of Imam Mahdi, Dajjal, the battle and the end. And they don't even think of fixing themselves, Muslim community. That they do dawah in an offensive way on social media, believing they are superior to kafir in terms of getting Jannah at some point for being Muslim. And many people are Islam for partially because of their activities. So how we Muslims should approach in such cases? That's my question.
Wajazakum. Akhi, these people are delusional. We as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah believe without any doubt that Imam Mahdi is coming and that he is the son or the descendant of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. His name and his father's name is Muhammad ibn Abdullah, similar to the Prophet's name. And that Allah would guide him overnight, meaning all of his life he was, I wouldn't say a playboy, but he wasn't a practicing person. But overnight, Allah guides him and he becomes a righteous practicing Imam. And in his era and time, Isa ibn Maryam, Jesus, peace be upon him, would descend from the heavens and would fight the Antichrist, the Dajjal, and kill him. This would happen at the end of time, not now. But his arrival, their arrival, doesn't mean anything to you and me, because we know that among those who will follow the Dajjal are many Muslims who would turn on their heels and leave Islam. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ ordered us to seek refuge in Allah every single salat. At the end of it, before offering salam, where we say, أعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المحيا والممات ومن فتنة المسيح الدجال. I seek refuge in you, Allah Azza wa Jal, from the tribulation and the testing of this calamity, this fitna, this trial of the Antichrist or the Dajjal. The Prophet told us that those with weak iman would come to see him and they would turn back on their heels and follow him. And this is why the Prophet says, whenever you hear of the Dajjal, do not confront him and run. Because one of you goes to listen to him thinking that he's a believer, and after listening to him, he flips and becomes a kafir. Therefore, don't care when Al-Mahdi is coming, because if he comes in the state that you and I are in today, most likely we would not follow him. Our iman is weak. We're not committed to Islam. We can't even pray Fajr on time in the masjid. We can't even say the truth without lying or cheating or consuming people's wealth unlawfully. We abuse our wives, and we're not fair with our children, and we're not good with our neighbors, and we do not connect our next of kin. What kind of a Muslim are you talking about? So be careful of these people and don't spend time debating or arguing with them. Let them be. Focus on yourself, on fixing yourself, your family, your relatives, your neighbors, your colleagues, those around you, and build a strong foundation and cement iman in their hearts, because if you do so, then inshallah, when Imam Mahdi comes, you will be one of his supporters, if not one of his commanders, with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. Najwa from the UK. Najwa. Okay, Sumaya from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, whenever, as a Muslim woman, or whenever in prayer, whenever the first sujood, whenever I do the first sujood and I get up to say Rabbil Firli, I always feel like my clothes get tight on me, and when I sit on my left leg and my right leg is upright, my right leg is the garment is tight on it. So do I have to fix every time that I do that and make the outer garment, like I wear a big khimar, but it goes up to until the knees? So do I have to put the khimar on top of it every time?
No, there is no need to that, inshallah, because your figure is your figure. And it's like saying, when I walk in a windy day, the wind makes my abaya tight on my body, and it may show my curves. But this is something you can't do anything about. And the position you're in is momentarily. It's not something throughout the whole salat. You're not wearing tight clothes. It so happened because of your posture, or position, whether you're in sujood or in ruku or in sitting position, that it may show some of your body bone structure, and there's no problem in that, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. This is all the time we have until we meet next week on Saturday. I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين.